you do the job.
No loose sleeves. If
Nothing.
they have long sleeves, they must have proper cuffs on it.
Yeah. And if you get a decent sweatshirt that's short and tight fitting, so wear that rather. But you know what?
Not overall, sort of long floppy.
Guys, please, no loose clothing, nothing that can get caught or snagged or anything like that. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Then if you've got long hair, put it in a net or tie it up or whatever the case may be, get it out of the way. Okay, just something as simple as that. A lady, we were busy doing some demonstrations, and a lady got her hair caught in the drill bit. So it's cutting on a hole saw, got caught in that. It was a mess. Didn't pull anything out of it, but we had to cut the hair out, cut her hair off just to put on that section to get the thing apart. And she was actually let over the thing called a tap. There you go. Gloves. Okay, so leather gloves. Good leather gloves for the day you need them, or you need to work with them, or whatever the case may be. Get them. You will learn, I can assure you that. And I know, Dave, I do agree with you, but you work it out. It's a personal thing. You work it out. No, Dave, I didn't say that. It's a personal thing. Les, you don't wear gloves. When do you wear gloves?
I'm just extra careful when I'm working on splinters.
Yeah. You do get the odd splinter, yeah. Look,
there's no glove that's going to protect you against this.
If you're a wood newbie, you're going to get splinters. It's your initiation. Okay, please make sure you're working with pine wood when you get them. The other thing is, I don't know, look, don't sit all day trying to pull them out. Don't go into surgery for it. Just leave it. Mother Nature will take care of it. The following morning you can give it a good squeeze and it'll come out again, okay? Because what happens is your body's trying to attack the foreign object, and then it will create that pussy type stuff around. It's not that ugly. Just give it a nice little push and it'll come out. There it goes. Make sure you get the whole thing. But yes, Dave's right. Okay, some of the woods are toxic, but you know what? Know your wood before you start working with it. And that's always a good hint as well. If you get some wood given to you by somebody and you can't identify it, take it to somebody who can help you identify the wood. And then some of these guys, when they identify it, they actually cut a piece off and they... If it's toxic, run away. No, but they normally know what they're doing. Okay? Right, the other one is... I got you leather gloves, cut-proof gloves. If you're doing carving and whittling and stuff like that, you need to do some sort of real rough whittling and get everything down to a certain size. Maybe a cut-proof glove would also be good for you to have on hand. So maybe invest in a set of those. I don't have them because I don't. That's not the kind of stuff I do. But then get yourself a box of 100 disposable gloves. Come on, guys. I know you don't have to put stain into a cup on a sponge and then put your hand in there without a glove on it. And then when you go shopping, it looks like you're a smoker because it's got nicotine stains. Okay, use a glove. Yeah, and then when you finish with it, all you do is you take your sponge and you just put your glove off. The sponge is on the inside. And then wrap it and just throw it into the bin. Okay. If you're working with oils, don't do that. It will burst into flames. Okay, so tongue oils and Danish oils and the likes. Okay, so don't do that if you're wiping it on. It's cloth must be laid out flat so it can dry out properly. Okay. It starts oxidizing and it combusts. So if you want to know why your workshop burned down, because of that. Right, the last one, aprons. I'm an apron fan. I love an apron. Okay. Some guys work with them, some guys don't. You use an apron?
I've got a jacket.
Okay.
I've got a thin apron.
Okay.
And I found out the other day when I tried for the first time, it's like a child's apron. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, all right. Who use an apron? Yeah. Okay, so...
Do you find it a bit heavy?
Yeah, okay, so my apron is the crossovers on the back. Because this section over here, this is actually quite a nice one, funny enough. This one with the adjustable strap. If you get the one with just the loop, that one seems to bite into your neck and ride. This one's actually nice. I think you can adjust the loop. But if you can, the best one to try and get hold of is the one that's got the over the shoulder, the crossover at the back, that clips on the side and you can pull it around. That's the nicest one to work with. But you know what? Work it out for yourself. If you know somebody who works with fabric, ask them to make you an apron with pockets. I rarely put anything in my pockets, really do. I might keep a pencil in here, and maybe my little plan that I'm working with, I might keep that in my pocket, but otherwise, I don't put anything on me. I've seen some of the guys I've worked with, they've got, gee, they look like a military guy with, the set square and pencil and marker and scriber and tape measure and everything else. I mean, they're a walking toolbox. They've got everything on there. So maybe that's comfortable for them. I'm happy with this. And then I use the leather one if I'm busy doing some routing and stuff like that. And there's chips coming off the wood. Then I use a leather one. Okay. Also, because I've had an incident where a router did come out and it headed straight into the cloth apron. I had actually shredded into it and then hit the t-shirt. I was okay. But I decided against that. I said, no, leather ones. So next time I work, so when I work on a route, I just the way I work, okay? So I said, you know, that's my personal choice. I like an apron. Dust coat, yes, a lot of guys use dust coats. Just make sure those floppy sleeves are out of the way with whatever you're working with, okay?
We don't have pockets in the front because it folds up and falls down.
Yeah, I know. I always have to turn mine upside down and get it out and blow it out and whatever, okay? But you know, that's what you normally do at the end of the day. Keep your place clean and tidy and tidy up, okay? Dave, any comment on an apron and a duck? Are you sulking, man? Okay, Dave's sulking, so then I'm going to take a tea break.
Can I just add one thing?
Sorry, you were saying that, yes.
There's alcohol in workshops.
As plenty as possible.
I've got a,
Because it melts the shellac before you put it.
but I'm talking about not the stuff you put on the wood, but the stuff you put in the
Yeah, don't have your brewery in your workshop.
Guys, don't have a couple of beers and go and play with
Guys, listen, no, seriously, okay, John, thanks. It's something I should, I was just talking about safety equipment, but yes, you have
I've got a golden rule in my workshop. Have a couple of beers or even a beer. I will not go in
the same as me. Don't go in there. The other thing is, please, if you're taking medication or flu medication or anything like that, or even if you're feeling a little bit under the weather, unless you're going to do sanding or you're going to do varnishing or something like that, go in. Do not work with your equipment if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts, okay? That's when it's going to nick you. And then also if you guys have got low or high, I don't know which way it goes, one of the blood pressure types that makes you feel a little bit queasy, especially if you bend over and then lift up yourself up quite quickly. Don't. Okay, so just, you know what, you know your game, but just be safe. Practice safety first. It's going to keep you going for quite a while, okay? All right. We all got our fingers, eh?
Even if you're tired, that's when people get gosh.
And lighting. Oh gosh, you can talk about this all day. Lighting. You know what? Something I discovered. There's a company that's lighting professionals in this country. I didn't know. I guess we had people like it, but I didn't really know. One of the stores that I do work for, also do demonstrations and work for. One of the things about them is they've got some amazing lighting. When I set my new workshop up, I tell you what, I couldn't get the lighting issue sorted out. Gave them a phone call. The guy came past. 5 minutes later, I had my lighting solution. 5 minutes. That's all it took. Told me exactly how high to put it, what type of LED to put, what color, the whole story. 5 minutes, and he walked out. I did exactly what he did, and I've got the best. One of the things he told me, and I didn't know, he asked me how old I was. He said, the older you get, the more your eyes deteriorate, and the more lighting you need. So if you're 20 years old, the amount of light that you get is sufficient, and if you are 60 years old, that lighting has to be 15 times stronger for you to be able to see properly. Didn't know that. Dave, comment? Now you're just ignoring me. You've gone now to WhatsApp and you've now told all your mates that this oak is and whatever.
What lighting expert did you get in?
What's the company? Graham, the guy's name is Graham. Then Santon. Okay, tell you what I'll do. I'll get the name. I'm trying to remember the name now.
There's loads of them. I deal with them all the time for building services.
They did. Do you know any of they do for retail sector? Maybe just
most of the guys I deal with retail. I've got a lighting engineer and I've done some lighting design.
And names of companies?
Province Lighting, Regent Lighting, all commercial stuff.
Okay, I'll get the name. Somebody's asked me to give it to them already. I was just getting, so we'll put that up on the website for lighting, and the guys can get it from there. But it makes a huge difference, eh?
There's not really a state above you.
Well, the LED stuff you can have right over here. Yeah. There's no issue with that. And the nice thing is, where they help me position it, I've got my table so it doesn't throw shadow.
So not just light up, but it's color rendering index as well.
Yeah, I've got a 600.
Well, there's a color temperature and color rendering index. Color temperature is warm white, cool white, or daylight, and then there's CRI, color rendering index, which you want at least at 80 or 90 if you're doing, because that color rendering index just tells you basically how much the colors are representing themselves.
Okay.
So green is green. If you have a low color rendering index, your colors are going to be mushy. They're not going to be bright. So especially if you're working with something that you've got a really nice grain that you want to make sure, and you're varnishing it, or you're doing lacquer or whatever, that you get the right.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did
critical.
for me. I remember them mentioning that.
They probably did a 90. They probably did a 90 coloring index, which is some of the best you can get. You'll find that, like, if you go to a clothing shop, you'll always find they have daylight, which is about 6,000 Kelvin, which is the color temperature, and they have at least a 90 CRI.
So colors look brighter, more vibrant.
So they are what they represent more what you would, if you go out in daylight, that's the best color representation that you'll get. So it's closer to daylight.
Yeah, that's basically what I've got, because I thought, when I looked at the rosewood, I thought it was a little bit too pink.
Yeah,
I went outside,
That's it.
and then I looked at it and I said, this brown's coming back in here again. So I went back in, then I moved to a different area of the shop, because I've got 3 stages of lighting. So the finishing area's got to have one that's more natural. So when I moved under there, I could see the brown coming out. But where I was working with the cutting it looked pink, and I needed that more for visibility and clarity. So mine's broken into 3 sections, 3 different. But all they did was just gave me the name of the colour of the tube that I was getting. So all I did was just bought those tubes and I've stuck them.
No, lighting's critical, but
Best thing
it's not that
Best
complicated.
thing ever. Dave, I'll get that for you, okay? Just have a chat with me after so I can make a note of it. Right, let's, any other questions? Anybody want to say anything else? I think we covered the basics, but please don't ignore this topic, okay? Really and truly don't ignore this topic. One more thing, make it a golden rule. The guys that have got workshops at home and kids, for goodness sakes, make it a golden rule that you put a little barrier or something up or a rope that if you're working, you go to that spot, put the little plastic chain or barrier or rope or whatever across it, and make sure that the kids, when that's up, they're not to come into the shop, okay? Because you get startled when somebody taps you on your back and you're busy with something, cutting on a table saw, and somebody startles you, going to cause a major problem for you, okay? So please, golden rules, get that sorted out up front. And please, if you have got kids, get them involved, but also make sure they've got safety stuff on, okay? Safety equipment on, all right? I'm not a big...
I'll add something to that as well.
Yeah.
Don't leave things plugged in.
At any stage, yeah.
A little finger will go along and push the switch just to see what
No,
happens.
sure. Oh, gosh. All right. Guys, we go on this for this forever, but all right, I think you guys got the idea. Okay, all right, let's put a pause button there, grab a quick break, 15 minutes. Right, is it coffee? Guys, tea, coffee. Good stuff. Your name? Tristan. How's it, Tristan? I'm sorry, we did a quick introduction thingy when you weren't here, so we didn't get to say hello to you. All right, my name's Bunny, and I meant to come and say hello to you when we were on the break, but yeah. There's Dave there. All right, let's start. Quickly, guys, before Dave comes back. Yeah, next slide. My show's over. Alright, good. Okay, so, folks, okay, come on, just to remind you that, please, you know, what I've done is I've just really taken a very middle-of-the-road approach, a generic approach to kind of everything. I think, you know, just by the discussions we've had, you'll work out that there's a unique flair to each person. It's an individual. Woodworking is an individual thing, okay? So, you know, everybody will do things in a certain way or whatever. I can guarantee you, you know, if you get 2 woodworkers that don't know each other, but they're equally skilled in a particular craft that they do within the woodworking area, they will both comment on each other's work, no matter how, and they're making something together. The one will say, no, put the screw that way around. No, you put it that way. Well, why don't you use that screwdriver? Why are you using the long one? Why don't you use the short one? And it'll go on like that the whole time. I've watched this, okay? And I've also experienced it. I've had some of the older guys, I've called them in just to, you know, come and watch me put something together or whatever to make sure I'm doing it properly. There was one guy, and I regretted it every step of the way. And then I eventually got to the point where I thought, okay, hang on a minute. What's happening is he's telling me exactly how he would do it. And there's nothing wrong. So the basic point or the caveat to take away from this is there's more than one way to do something from the woodworking world, okay? All right. So don't, you know, if somebody says, no, why don't you do it that way? It's not a criticism. Don't take it as such. It's a comment. Okay? And if you can accept that comment, there might be a day where you might find yourself in a situation where, yes, that could work for you. Do you understand? So it's not a criticism. And I think sometimes the guys get a bit sensitive and they say, everything I do, this guy's criticizing me. No, it's not. It's a comment. And I think that's more what woodworkers aren't nasty people in general, I believe. So they're helpful. But I think take it as a criticism more than anything else. Okay? All right. Good. Let's have a look at the next steps. We're going to have a look at some basic tools. Okay, now look, gosh. How do you start this? How do you even start talking about this? You know what? It's all dependent on your money. What's your budget? You know, you can have 5 tools and you can produce some magnificent work. You can have 100 tools, you can also produce some magnificent work. Okay? And you can also go the other way around. You can have 5 tools and produce real rubbish, and 100 tools and also produce real rubbish. So it's all down to what have you got in terms of money and what you can spend, you know, in terms of getting the tools that you need. So when I had a look at this particular topic on the basic tools, it was kind of a bit of a head scratcher, and I had to go kind of think, what would you do in terms of basic tools? So I kind of started with the most sensible thing is a tape measure. I think if anything, you would need a tape measure. And then following that, a steel ruler. You can use a plastic ruler or whatever. But a steel one, just for the durability, and even better, if you can get an engineer's steel ruler, and get yourself a nice one, maybe a 500 mil or a 400 mil. It's got the little engravings on the millimeters, so that when you put your pencil, you can pencil it in and just drop it off the edge and make a proper mark on where you want to make your cut or whatever the case may be. So a tape measure is definitely. Now look, when it comes to tape measures, it's another topic that you can spend an hour talking about, in terms of a tape measure. The thing that you need to do is get a tape measure that works for you. So I've got about 6 or 7 tape measures. You're probably thinking, well, what the heck for? Well, okay, so I have a 3 meter, I have a 5 meter, I have a 7, and I have a 10. And then I have a fat one, and I have a very thin one. And the fat one allows me to swing it out, and it can go 5 meters without bending. And the thin one, if I do it like that, will in front of me. Do you understand? And like I said to you, woodworkers are solitary people. When you want to measure something over 3 meters, and you've got that little thin tape, and you throw it out to measure, and it flops down, and now you want it to hook, and it doesn't work for you, you're going to get frustrated. And I think some of you guys have experienced that already. And you say, just hook, that's the thing. And then you take the measure, and off it goes, now you're going to get number 2. So I've got a couple of them. So a couple of things to look on a tape measure. Work out what you want. There is a science to tape measure. So my favorite tape measure is I'm not trying to promote the brand, it's a Stanley Fat Max. That's my favourite one. It's got a little rubber shroud around, it's got a nice feel in my hand, nice and long. You can throw the tape out, you sort of have to roll it out, throw it out. It's got a nice hook on the end of it with a little thing that you can put a nail on the other end. Learn about the art of a tape measure. There's a couple of fancy things on it that you might not be aware of. It's got inches and millimeters, because you know that most of the plans we purchase are from the Americans, and they do not know of metric. Mind you, they are moving in that direction very, very quickly. Some of the woodworkers I've spoken to from the States, I don't know if you guys have come across any of them. Somebody said they go to the States. They actually like the metric system because they don't have to do the fractions all the time. They said it's so simple. You've got 10 fingers and you've got 10 millimeters to a centimeter, and 10 of those make a meter, and 10 of those make 100 meters, and 1,000 of those make a kilometer. Why do we have to go with this 1/8 and 1/16? I mean, they think we're pretty smart because we can take millimeters and concepts. So they'll say to you, I just do a 1/8, and you say, all right, you millimeter. How did you do that? Because you do it all the time. And an inch for 25. I know it's 25, pop up 5 something, but we just round it off to 25. Okay, so yeah, if you've got both on there, that's going to put you in good stead, especially if you have to deal with something, you're working out of the magazines, you're building something, have both on hand. Okay, otherwise get a metricated one if that's what you're working on. So have a look at your tape measure. I think that's the most important one for you. Cheap and nasty is going to be exactly what it is, okay? In terms of a tape measure. Those things also cut you when they retract to get a decent one with a proper coating on it that will last and whatever. Have a look around. I mean, some of you guys that are working out in the industry, have a look at some of the tape measures the guys have got. Say, how long have you had this thing for? I've had this thing for 4 years. You have a look and say, gosh, especially towards the beginning, it'll get worn quite a lot. You can still read off that tape measure. You know, it's a good quality one. That's the one to go for. So hunt it around and have a look. Okay. I would also say tape measure is probably also a personal thing. I think if we had a talk here, it's fine. If you've got a tape measure, what's your brand? Hong Kong, eh? No. What's your brand? What colour is yours? Blue. What colour is yours?
Mine is like a bright orange. Born in the UK.
Yours? Stanley. Nice one. Yours? And yours? Stanley. And yours? Stanley. Okay, Stanley's not the only oak we know around here, man. Yeah, Webco's got a good one. Yeah. Yeah, leave it out. Yours? Cheapy. I know, Hong. You got it out of Christmas cracker. Oh, by the way, the Christmas cracker tape measures are awesome when you're building your little table that you want to make a little table out there, embed it, put some epoxy over the top. Just make sure it's accurate there.
Brother, what we make it is a special sign near the end. It's the most accurate one. Yeah, it includes the little 2 millimeter at the end. A lot of them are better where you measuring inside.
Oh, in or out. Yeah, but the Stanley does that as well. So, yeah, make sure that little pin. Guys, go and read up about a tape measure. I'm not kidding you. There's a science in it.
You know why that is there.
We push up against the table or pull it back. Yeah. And do you know why there's a little hole in it? So you can put a nail in it with a proper head. You can hook it over the edge of it. You can walk down the line. And you know why it's got a shape like that on the back of it, so you can serrate it to make your mark. And so on and so on and so on. Okay. A lot of stuff built in, and then the width of it should be about a standard 50 mil, depending on the size one, and the big ones are 90 mil. So you can actually use that as an extra bit of, and so on. Dave, okay? What's your tape measure? We're about the same one. Okay, good investment in a tape measure. Good, get a good, nice one. It's got a good feel, and you can read it as well. Okay, all right. Right, carpenter square. Listen, stay away from the fancy gadgets until you know how they work. Otherwise, a good regular tape measure is all you need. All right, it will work. And then you clip it somewhere. You're going to be one of those Rambo dudes. Right, carpenter square. Look, if you've got an engineer square, it's just as good. It's a bit of a waste of money, but a carpenter square is going to work for you. Go and have a look. There's some YouTubes on how to square up your carpenter square. Don't believe it's square out of the box, eh? And then again, there's a technique to some of those squares. They've got some interesting little markings on them, little scales on them, little indicators on them. And to make them square, you've got to knock them on a certain point on the square. You give it a hammer with a little what do you call it, center punch. You knock it, will actually bring it into square for you. So, but then again, you need something to square it up against. So you might have to go and visit somebody who's got an engineering works and put it on their milling machine, because they normally quite square. And have to help you out with that. So have a look at that carpenter square, and then of course the other one. There's so many square types out there. There you can see a variation. Milescraft have got a fantastic one. It's got a little, it's a nice square. It's got a ridge on the foot of it, on the short leg, so that you can just ride it up along the piece of wood. Is there one here?
What is it off this?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, all right. Now this is this one. You're talking about this one. Learn how to work with this toy. It's got degrees on it, so you can also draw your lines. There's a little book there. I think if you buy the American version, is this a blue book? There's a little blue book with it. Yes, the Swanson. There we go. It's got a blue book with it. Read the little blue book. Has anybody read the thing? No. Yeah, you must watch these guys. I watched the guys building rafters with this in the States. Man, the guy takes this thing out and they add it, man. They sell it with this thing. It's like a machine. Okay, that's the one I'm talking about. It's got a nice little foot that you can ride onto the edge. The other bonus is it's got little slots where you can put your pencil in. And then as you go along, you can draw it up and down to mark your what do you call it? What do you call it?
Is that a carpenter square?
Framing square. And this one, yeah, also framing. Speed square, sorry. What else is there? That'll work. Combination square. Combination square, do we have one there? It's that one you guys will know, the little screws. You can move your ruler up and down. It's made out of steel, little groove in the middle. No, we've done that. That's also a very good one. You get them in the 6-inch and the 3-inch. 150 and 75.
If you shop around, you also get them 12 jar.
Yeah, I have longer ones, yeah. Okay, I normally keep a little short one with me and then use the long one. The nice thing about that is you can also set it, and the same effect as this, you can set the length. I use it as a depth gauge and then how much I need from the edge and all sorts of things. So that's my favorite little tool. That's why I've got the shorter one. It's a little small one, yeah. And you get fancy ones with little bevels in them with the water spirit level in it if you needed to use it. So you can play around with those options. So have a look, there's a couple of different ones out there. So it's a case of just talking around and finding out who uses what and what's their favorite little square. You know, you get attached to a particular one. I have a couple of squares that I work with. Okay, it just depends on what I'm busy with. Okay, I like the big carpenter square, the big one, and I bought a little Veritas attachment that you can put at the bottom of it to ride up against the side, because I've got wider boards that I work with, and that's the one I kind of really enjoy. So, you know, you guys pick up which one you would like to work with. That's a definite must-have. So, who's having a problem squaring up the material? Okay, that's step number one. Okay. All right, hand saws. Oh my word. Where's Dave? Now I'm talking about hand tools, and he's gone. And I'm talking about hand tools.
I'm checking the Japanese ones here.
Alright, okay, so I've set there various TPIs, teeth per inch, okay? Guys, you know what? Go and get a saw that you need. There's saws that you can cut accurately with, like the Japanese saws. They are beautiful toys to work with. Who's worked with a Japanese saw? And you worked with them. Lovely saws, eh? You find your position to cut with that thing, and you stand and you cut, and it just, you know, it's the day that you don't want to switch anything on or any machine to cut something. You've got a little piece of wood, you've got to just take that shave off. Okay? and you stand there, you mark it, and there's a technique to it. You look in the reflection of the blade, and if it's straight, you're going to get a straight cut all the way down. There's a technique to cutting with that boy. And then they make little... There we go. I think this is it. Yeah, here's the guide. I've never used one, but there it is. Okay, that's the guide made for these Japanese swords. So it'll get it 100%. I mean, if you watch the... Go and have a look at some of the YouTube videos. Oh, here we go. Go look at the YouTube videos on the Japanese swords and watch how those guys cut it. This is the guy, the Japanese sword. It's a pull sword, not a push sword. Okay, that's a bit of a difference. You've got to get your head around it. Once you've got your muscle memory on this guy, gosh man, you're going to use it. I'm using mine more and more and more as I go along. I go somewhere now, I just throw it in the boot of the car and go somewhere if I have to do a quick job. And it's nice and tidy and it's clean. Okay, so you guys have used it, by all means. Alright, just some other saws. Different ones, okay. Then the regular, normal saw, carpenter saw. Okay. Get short ones, long ones, different teeth per inch. You know, work at. I would just say, get yourself something simple to start with. Get yourself a normal, regular saw. You know, just a 27-inch jobby and then work with it. Okay. 16 teeth. Let it work. If it's not going to do the job for you, take it further. Okay. I inherited a whole bunch of these, and I had to go and buy the little bending tool. Or the saws, the setter, and learn how to work with all of that. And I must say, that's one thing I'll take time with, is to set those things. And there are occasions where, you know, the teeth do go out, and you've got to set them up. So a saw should last you, they say it should last you a lifetime if you're confident. It's amazing, but that's how it goes. So my saws
Really, teeth is sharpening and setting the teeth.
yeah, and in sharpening, I've got the little files to sharpen it with as well. So you've got to sit down. There we go. Right, that's... only thing that irritates me, if you buy cheap and nasty, is to get this to loosen. There's nothing worse than you're in the shop and you're trying to loosen this thing and it doesn't. And you've got to take out a pair of pliers and hinge it and whatever. So I threw mine away.
If you lose it, you can't get spares.
Yeah, out of frustration, I threw mine away. And we got it. This is nice. This is mine. Thanks. Okay, so that's what you want. Okay, this is the combination square. All right. They put a little spirit level in there. Okay, you might need it if you're going to fit this or whatever the case may be.
That one's also got a scriber on it.
Yes, you put it out on the back here. Yeah, some of them have got that, so there you go. Oh, well observed. There you go.
That's for scribing metal.
Buy a proper scribe, the one that's straight with a little pin on the end. Get a good quality one, you can use it for end use. Anyway, that's another thing that can go on for I forgot. Okay, alright, so, hand saws, guys, tons of them. Who's the chap for the dovetails? Dovetails, who's going to do dovetails? Interesting dovetail. Alright, that's a set of saws for dovetailing as well. Gentleman's saw to get a nice, smooth cut. But, practice and play around. You know, woodworkers don't normally borrow or lend their saws out to people. It's one of the things you don't do, because it never comes back in its...
It's like fishing stuff. You just don't lend it out.
You'll lend a guy a drill or something. Oh gosh, I lent a guy a chisel. Should have done it before and after. The guy hit a nail in whatever he was taking out and he just wrecked the chisel. So, you know.
That's why you bought it yours.
Alright, okay, so screwdrivers. Okay, so there's a, look guys, there's another thing, you can talk about that all day as well. The real traditional guys don't use screws, they use joints, okay? And different joint types, that's how they work. But again, you know, you're living in a modern age. You know, make a combination, do a hybrid, you know, don't force yourself into a certain mold. You know, if you can hide the screw, use it. You know, if it looks, sometimes it can complement the piece of work that you're making and creating. You get some really good looking screws out there. Make use of them. And then there's different types. You've got the flat, you've got the Phillips, you've got the Robinson. Robinson's a square one. That was invented in the early 1900s by the Canadians. And then the Americans went and created the flat. And then Phillips, the electronics company, created the Phillips head, the star as we know. And then of course you've got the other ones now with the multi-security type heads and all that kind of thing. The one that's now coming back in this really big game at the moment is the Robinson, purely because it works. It's got a tape, so engineering guys tape it for the slot to go in so it doesn't slip out. Proper depth, proper torque, catches the head, risks of snapping the head off minimal, everything's balanced, everything works. So the only reason why it dies was the Americans walked in with a flat. And then you have that ratchet jobby that you worked with. and that took your fingers off or stabbed you to death or cut you to pieces. If anybody's ever worked with them, if you're young enough and you remember your grandfather having one of those and you played with it because it was an awesome toy, and then you got your fingers caught in it, so you got a lot of experience out of that shred driver. I still got my grandfather's one. Using it? Never. Absolutely no point. Okay, so screwdrivers. Invest in a good set of screwdrivers. It's worth it. Go and buy a no-name brand at one of the box stores out there, hardware stores. Tell you what, it's going to last as long as it possibly can. And there's no ways to treat a screwdriver properly. You use it. You know, if that thing starts, going down on you because of the bad quality metal. You get the ones with a little black head on it, and they say, "Oh, that's hardened steel." Come on, you're going to find out these different brands and makes out there. They make it look like the real McCoy. Go and get yourself a decent set of screwdrivers. There's a couple of brands out there, but go and have a look at it and see. And it's worth investing in because a good screwdriver can also last you a long time. Okay, if it's treated properly, you can manage it properly. Make sure you also get one that's comfortable in your hand. So. It's difficult, you can't always test and try all these things. If the handle's too small, especially if you've got big hands, it's the most horrible thing to work with, especially if you're in an awkward spot and you've got to try and get a screw into a piece of wood or something like that. It's really horrible. And use the, oh gosh man, if you got the space and there's a big screw, use a big driver. Don't use a little guy, and things like that. A bit of common sense will always guide you in that regard. So pretty screwdrivers is definitely a must-have. The next one is chisels. So I added chisels in because I thought, what would make it easy for you to work with? And chisels definitely do the trick for you. It's always to remove that little bit of waste or to tidy something up. If your chisels are sharp and they're looked after, you can do a lot of stuff with a chisel. You can take an edge off if you run it properly with your finger and hold it properly. You can take it off instead of you going and grabbing a plane. I know the purists are going to say grab the plane. Yes, all right, do that. But you know what? There's a time and a place for a door, for door hinges, hinging. Chisels are going to be your first price to go for. Okay. Unless you a master with a router, you put a little router on there and zip it out quickly and just use get the little trend chisel, corner chisel. You just hammer it and you chisel out. You still need to use a chisel to let that little corner piece out. Okay, so
Allscroft's got Jake 4 hinges as well as the corner chisel.
And then Salvo as well, their one. So there's a ton of things out there, but these are the ones that you can learn to get the hand tool side of things sorted out. Little pieces that you need to square up or tidy up, or maybe just clean up a little patch or tidy up something. So certainly chisels are going to work. Then rasps are the other ones. You want to make a good investment on rasp. The rasps are the ones that look like an egg. Oh, sorry, like a grater that you have in the kitchen. Just trying to think. Is he getting one? Okay, Stanley make a regular rasp, and they actually quite nice. I was actually many years ago I bought a rasp and played with it. Stanley have got different lenses. Looks like an egg. Sorry, no, it looks like a grater. That you grate your carrots or something against. But it can lift the wood off. It really takes up some good wood. And if you get good with it, you can actually smooth the door down. All you have to do is just give it a lick of sandpaper, and that's perfect. So while they meant to take off large volumes of wood by hand quickly. Okay, and that's what they intended. You get the Japanese rasp as well. It's like a type of thing, and that can just lift the wood off. There we go. Perfect. Okay, this is the standing. Standing. Sure form. Okay, there's their rasp. Okay, this one. You guys seen this?
And you still get blades from that?
Yes. I just bought an old batch. The long ones, this, and the short ones, yeah. There's another pattern as well, the round one as well, you can get them. Okay, you can still buy them. This is cheap as chips, eh? Mine are of metal, I see the plastic ones are still floating around as well. But this works. And if you know how to work with these guys, I'm telling you, you can do some fantastic stuff with this, eh? I was surprised, it only takes a bit of meat off the door. And man, this thing, I tried it out for the first time and I was really impressed on how much it cleaned off and how well it cleaned off. It didn't look as bad as I thought it would. Well, look at the end of it. Anyway, here's the file. You flat bastard. Okay, so this is the rasp. It's unlike a normal engineer's file. It's got little knobbles that stick out, and it also removes wood quite quickly. Okay, so shortly if you wanted to cut something off, you can just file it with the rasp. Okay. There's the other one. The microplane. Has anybody used the microplane or heard of the microplane? Heard of it? Okay. If your wife is a very avid cook, okay, in the kitchen, she's very good in the kitchen, she's got all the gadgets and tools, she will have a little file called a zester. It's actually the microplane tool that they just rebranded for the cooking guys
Yeah, looks like
at twice the price. So don't buy it, but you can borrow hers. I was actually amazed to find out. I was amazed to find out what the cooking people use that we actually use. I mean, you know, if you look at a bandsaw, they've used a bandsaw for years to cut meat and stuff. As an example. So have a look around, okay? But the microplanes are the ones to go for. I love this guy. Because after using this, I saw the microplane, I bought the microplanes. And you get them in square shapes, round shapes, also flat, short ones, long ones, plane styles like this. They're a bit pricey, but they're really worth the deal. They last. And they're also made out of high quality steel, and they don't rust or anything on you. So this is if you're starting off, that's the one you want to go for, okay? And then you can move yourself. Try this one out. Get yourself a small one. Have you tried it, John? Anybody tried this one, the standing one? And that's what it says on the box, eh?
It's very heavy.
Yeah, just to knock all that, if you don't want to cut something or whatever on a door, especially like a cupboard door, a solid one, you just want to rasp that top off. And it actually gives it a good finish at the end of it, eh? Surprisingly. Just give it a good lick. And then it's for sandpaper. And then the job's done. A lick of sandpaper. Good, okay. Right, so that's the chisels and grass. So the next step is definitely a hammer. Okay? For all sorts of reasons. So get yourself a proper claw hammer. Okay, so you can take nails out of something, if you hit them in skew or whatever the case may be, to hammer things in. Look, you know what? It's always your go-to tool when you are busy assembling furniture or you're trying to line things up, and you grab a claw hammer and then bang it, and then eventually you've got a nice piece of exotic wood and you put a dent in it. How do you get the dent out? Yeah, put a bit of water on it, okay? So just get a drop of water, drop it on the wood and swell it back up again. Hopefully you can get the solution. But you know what, there's a proper solution. Get yourself a mallet, a white one. Okay, a nice, there's variations of it. You get some of them have got beads in it, so when you give it a bit of a knock, the beads all go to the front and it taps it further. You've got to get used to how much you need to tap it. But get a white one, please, not a black one, otherwise it walks your wood in that again, okay? Alright, so those are the things you can get, but again, there's so many variations of a hammer. I mean, there's no other illustrations. You get a little nailer's hammer, you get the big ones and a smaller one. Have a look around, get a good quality one. A lot of the guys go for the wooden shaft ones, some of them go for the fiberglass, some go for the all steel ones. Then you get hammers where you can put the nail in on the back of it and you can hammer it down and all that kind of stuff. You know, if you're going to do roofing, by all means, get a hammer like that, but you know, for the most part, a regular hammer's going to do. Then another thing with regards to working with hammers, especially if you're going to work with nails, there's no shame to work with nails. Eh? What I would suggest you do is practice your nailing, so you can nail it. Alright? Seriously. There's nothing worse than putting something together and on the day, now using the nailing, putting a nail in for the first time, and then it didn't hit it, or you hit it and it bent, and then put some mark back on the wood. Then you get frustrated, and some of you guys, I know are like that. Then you start hammering the day out of the thing. And then you look at your work and say, oh, now I messed it up. Or you're patient and you use the claw and you pull it out, and then you put a piece of wood underneath it and you lift it off, and you don't want to hurt what you've done, and then you go back and do it. Or some of you will drill a little hole and then you put your nail in. I don't know why you're doing that. Practice your nails, okay? Go get a couple of different sized nails and practice it, especially on ends of wood of different thicknesses, so you can understand how that nail's going to work. There's a technology in nails. And if you go and look at it, the guy's going to say to you, cut the point off, because then it doesn't split the pieces, it tries to compress and go into soft wood. Then you get other ones that have got points on them, that's the normal one. And then there's one with a point with a flat bit on it. That flat bit I thought was an engineering fault. No, it's not. It's a reason to actually split the fibers to try and drive it in. There's different reasons for the different types of nails that you've got. So go and look at the stuff and then practice them. Gosh, I gave my daughter a bag of nails and said, no, practice them. And then she's like, I've done them. I said, no, I have to take them out. No, how do I do that? Same way you got them in, but I can't hit them out. Turn the board around. Oh, okay. Then she got them out. And I said, now put them back in again. But she can put a nail in. Same thing with the screws with a screwdriver. Screw them in by hand, so you can get your body up in line so you can pick them in straight. You know that you're going to go in skew and whatever, so go practice that. Right, next one. Clamps. 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 So we go on and on. All right.
Can't have too many clamps.
What does Ramsey say? He says, you need 9 clamps. I read his article, you need 9 clamps. It was just, I think, more a tongue-in-cheek session. Gosh, you need clamps, eh? Nobody's asking me what kind.
All sorts.
You know what? All I can say to you is invest in good quality clamps. I have thrown money away. The ratchet clamps. I don't know how many of them I've thrown away because they were rubbish. Now you've got the brands, you've got Bessie, Record, Clips. Try the brands, and the guys are reinventing these things over and over and over. So anyway, long story short, sash clamps is where I'm down to. So with the different lengths of pipe, I just change it out and put them on pipe. Okay, because I'm now tired of all the different clamps. Your wall will be wall to wall with clamps. And I'm telling you now, if the clamp is broken, get rid of it. There is nothing you can recover out of a broken ratchet clamp. There's nothing. Unless somebody's worked out something. Even that little rod, I don't even think that rod's working. Throw it away. I just don't even think it's working. But you'll hear, the guys will say, you can never have enough clamps, okay? Alright, how many clamps you got? That's okay, one short of what, how many you got?
4.
That's okay. You got?
About 15 or 20, I don't know.
You? So he's right, eh? 9 clamps, you only need 9. Let's go back and read that article again. Maybe we should publish that article. It's actually tongue-in-cheek, but it was very well written. Anybody else? Who's got more than 20 clamps? You? Good. But you're obviously doing big pieces and you're laminating and jointing.
What's the story?
I lost a small one. Little hundreds of those. Yeah, those are active. Get the metal one that you get from Vermont. Vermont make these, and actually it's a globally renowned clamp. It's a steel one. Looks like a welder's kind of clamp with a rubber tip on the front of it. Those are good for just about anything you can do with smaller clamp.
I like the picture there.
Something like that, but the metal one, eh? Metal one. You get a metal one, and that will certainly last a lot longer. Okay. All right, so clamps, and I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse. Oh, gosh, you know what, guys? Seriously, when you're working, I hope you're getting yourself into a good discipline of dry fitting everything together before glue up. Are you listening? You don't glue as you go along. Dry fitting everything before you glue up. Because when you dry fit, remember your glue up. I know you get glues that are, you can have a longer open time. Oh, that's the clamp I was talking about. I've got hundreds of those, from the small ones to the big ones. And I can handle them, and they got just the nice pressure to open them up, and they're tight, you know.
Yeah.
Do you want to just send it around? Let the guys just try. That's the best for my that's probably the best value for money on the clamp. You don't want a clamp that's going to squeeze all the glue out, because if you've got no glue in there, nothing's going to stick together. You want to have some glue behind. Let me tell you, some of the manufacturers, the tabletops that you're purchasing now, those things literally just whisper apart. They don't even fall apart. You go, the thing opens up because they squeeze the glue completely out of the thing. The pressure that's sufficient for what you want to do. So I've got probably, I think I bought 6 of each size that's available. So I've got a box full of them. Best ones ever that I've used, and I use them the most out of it. But okay, dry fitting. Go back to dry fit. Please dry fit, especially when you're busy with bigger projects. Then make sure you've got all the clamps ready for that. I learned in the early days, I glued 2 pieces of wood together and I thought I'd be okay. Glue. I think it was a 2 meter and I had about 8 clamps on it. I was short by miles. I had to go buy some more. But by that time, the wood was already starting to set, so that whole job was a waste and I had to throw it. Well, I recovered the wood, but it was an absolute waste because it kept little gaps in between it. So you really need to do the work on that. Do your homework, do your dry fitting, make sure you've got enough clamps. If you don't have clamps, then wait until you get the clamps on hand and then go and do your fitting, okay? I know that some of the glues have got a long open time, but the guys are pushing towards short open times on the glue, so you've got to really drill it. If it says 10 minutes glue open time, you've got 10 minutes to glue the glue up process, okay? And I think some of you guys, who's done the glue ups when the glue starts drying on them already? Yeah, and then you've got to sit there with a card scrape and scrape that glue off again, eh? So, certainly, and now you know, you learned. The most valuable tip, I think,
Well, talking about clamps,
yes.
if you're in a pinch, what you can do is use some of those ratchet straps.
Yes, that's another way, yeah. So there's a number of things you can play around. Just remember, all it's doing is trying to keep things together for the glue to set properly, okay? Keep it all flat and even for you, okay? You don't have to clamp the bejesus out of the thing, eh? Seriously. I've seen guys clamp it up and leave marks on everything. Of course, if you use the seat clamps, which is everybody goes for because it's a cheaper option, please put wood between the two, or if you want to make get yourself those, what's the cut of the round one? Force of it. Just make a little cup so you can put it on the head because it's got the 2 small heads. Otherwise it's going to squeeze, and believe it or not, if you put it on the wood, sometimes it compresses the wood and it actually still leaves a dent in the wood underneath it. So do a little cup on it so it can hook on it and do it work properly for you. Don't go and buy, I hate mentioning brands, but companies like Ardendorf, for example, don't take their seat clamps. So you're going to tighten it up 2 or 3 times in the back part where that little ball is. It's going to just snap off. Okay, and you're going to sit with this piece of metal. Maybe you'll get a recovery on that from the scrap cars. That's as far as we'll go. Okay. Right. Any other comments on clamps? Yes.
I think my comment is on the dry fitting.
Yes.
You know, I made a big mistake. I was using the domino.
Okay.
So I was building something and I dry fitted. Except this thing was so tough to take out. I had to break all the dominoes and re-drill all the roots again.
Yeah, all right. Then you need to have a look at, this is also something to learn. If you're trying to put things together and it's difficult to put together, don't force it because you're not going to be able to take it apart. So invariably, take your domino out, maybe just sand it a little bit and then just lightly, so you can just get a nice, that you can push it in by hand and then take it out again. Okay?
Or use a smaller size.
Or smaller.
So if you put like a 12, use a 10.
Yeah, definitely. That'll work.
Exactly.
Okay. And don't believe that glue is going to make up for the gap that you've got. Eh? You guys believe that in your head. It doesn't do that. Hold on a minute. Unless you get clever and you find out which woods do swell when they get wet. Then they make a perfect little valve for you to cover things up. And if you've got it, say for example you drill and sometimes it shears the wood in such a bad way that you've got a big gap. Make sure you use the type of wood that will just swell up if you put glue into it. Then you've got your, like a biscuit type thing. Then it'll do the job for you. So these are things you're going to play around with and you'll experience as you go along. Okay? But yeah, good one. Don't force anything on dry fitting. And no, I know that. I've done the same thing. Also forced them together and I couldn't get them apart, but I just left them like and glued everything else up. It works. It's not going to come apart. So maybe that's the way. But sometimes you can't because now your sequence is completely out and you can't put something else together. So, but dry fitted, especially if you've got a complex piece of furniture. Okay. We sometimes design stuff without thinking about what we're going to have, how we're going to put it together at the end, and that's where we get caught out. All right. So just be careful of that. Okay, all right, good. And then the last one is, you definitely need a pencil and paper, okay? All right, as your tool. How you guys do that or work with it, it's entirely your game again. I like a clutch pencil. I use a 0.7mm lead in a clutch pencil. So I bought a pack of these pens and pencils that you get. So when the one breaks, I just throw it away and put it in there. You grab the other one, just recover the lead from the one, just throw it in the other, and just carry on using it. Because it gives you a consistent line, okay? And you get used to how you do your marking. Now, some people will use a carpenter's pencil. Anybody use a carpenter's pencil? All right, so yes, there's an art to it, okay? The way you've got to cut it and make it and sharpen it and all that kind of thing. You know what, if you guys are used to it, and then how to make it flat to get it so you can get your line on the exact spot, that's okay. That's your game, okay? You learn that kind of thing. And the guys have shown me how to do it, and I kind of drift into it, and I drift out of it. But I love my clutch pencil, okay? And I've always got spares, so I've got them all over. I've got one in my car, I've got one in the bag here, I've got all over the place. I'm never short of a clutch pencil. And that's the way I go. Anybody use a clutch pencil?
So how do you take off the pencil marks? Do you
Sand
use
them.
a rubber or do you sand?
Sand them off, yeah. Just take a sponge sand and just lightly sand it off. Look, it depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're going to mark something, you shouldn't mark it, scribe it with a pencil. You've got a little marking gauge you can use that. Or just a little line mark. Just sort of mark it. Now, obviously, if you've got darker woods, I've also got white lead. So I use the white pencil to make marks on that as well. Or the China pencils, I use that one as well. Okay? So you need to adjust. Because sometimes you can't see that the pencil lead on the darker woods, so it's a bit difficult. So you can get the white leads, they're quite expensive, and they work, they mark it quite nicely. The other thing that I do use is also the Stadler, those little fine pens that the draftsmen work with, at 0.3. I also use that on the very hard woods. If I want to make a mark, I use that, and I know exactly where the line is, okay, so you can do that. So it's different things that you can play around with. Have a look, there are YouTube videos on how to sharpen those pencils. The lady that you mentioned, yeah, she's got a little thing, I think, I
I've got a
remember.
little jig to sharpen.
Yeah, there's guys that can do that blind, so, yeah, but you're
Or
right.
I just do it on my table sander.
Yes, everybody has a technique or a way. How do you sharpen it? Yeah, so you just take your pocket knife and just whittle it and then done, and it works for you. So guys will work out their own technique. Dave, how do you sharpen your pencil? Not your lead, your pencil.
I actually don't like pencils. I use the scribe.
Hi, Dave.
Controversial every time.
I'll get it right. I'm trying. I guess, what do you use, Dave? Okay, good.
The flat-sided scrap, I find it's far more accurate.
Yeah, okay.
It makes a little indentation on the wood, but you just sand it off.
Just sand it off, okay. Yeah, everybody picks up their own individual style, you know, and again, if you're working with, I mean, I use my pencil for marking and whatever the case, but also, you know, if I've got something I've got to cut off, I mean, I'm just one of those people that forgets if it was the left or the right hand side I had to cut off. So then I always make a mark, and you know, I try and follow the notation that all the other carpenters work, you know, they make a cross or something or whatever, and that's got to go off. So I always have my pencil around me, and don't touch my pencils. My daughter comes and she grabs my pencil and I can go talk, because you know how it goes. You've got the piece of wood under your arm, you've got this piece balancing there, you've got that piece there, and I'm trying to get your pencil and it's not there. Okay, so you guys are, some of you have been in that position, I'm sure. Hey, John? Yes?
So you mentioned the white one.
I got mine at a craft shop in Edenvale. There's a Dutch, in Fruitchecker Road. They sell the 0.5 white lead. It's just normal, they just call it white lead. It's a pencil lead, but it's a white one.
Probably also try to live in Evans.
So yeah?
Why don't you try and live in Evans art shops?
Yes, okay. Guys, any art shop should have it.
What is the place name called?
Oh, a bit in hell. Try it.
It's a Dutch lady and husband that run the place.
Close to what is it?
Oh, it's across the road from the Pick and Pay. So it's in Fruitchecker Road, across the road from the Pick and Pay. Are you live in Edenvale? But try any craft shop. I think a P&A might even have it. Give them a batch. The other option is, you know those pencils that you peel off the paper to get the... Yeah, but then you just whittle it down. Okay, so you go back to what the carpenter's pencil. Why is the carpenter's pencil flat? So it doesn't roll off the table. No, the reason. No, seriously, that wasn't a trick question. Yeah. Yeah, okay, but it works. But you guys have got carpenter's pencils. How much they go for?
That's cheap. The wooden ones, we've got a sponsor one replacing leads, different color leads, so
Oh, you sell the white lead as well?
not white, but a red lead.
Right, have a look around. You know, it all depends on what you're working with. Okay, but I must say, those little the stapler little kit that you get with the small fine points, the ink pen, that also kind of, if it's on a hardwood, it works quite nicely as well. Okay, so you don't want this thing to stain it or mark. That works. All right, good. Okay, so that's pencil and then definitely paper. Okay, to make a little note or something. But you know me. Well, if you don't know me, but I normally use my tabletop. I make my notes on the tabletop and then just sand them off. So then eventually my table does that. All right, good. Basic tools. All right, okay, so you guys all good with that. So that's just an idea of what you need to put together. Anything else that you can get and you can afford, well, those are all the different types. That clamp, is it still doing its round, or somebody taken it?
Yeah, it is.
Martin, thanks. Have you guys had a look at the plastic? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Did you guys have a look? Yes, okay. All right, okay, there's the carpenter's pencil. Green one. If you're colourblind, you're going to battle with that one. Yazzie, oh, okay, so we've got a clutch pencil one. All right, there's one there. And then the marker pack. Okay, this is new. Is this one that puts the puffer thread into the hole? Okay, all right, there's another variation of it, okay? You guys can go and have a look at these things. One of the things I did pick up, you know, whenever you have maybe a 50mm piece of wood and you drill a hole and you're trying to get it to line up properly on the other side, you get those situations. And now you're trying to work out, I mean, I'm just trying to see if I can get something, a drill bit or something, but even that might not be 100% accurate, but more or less gets the whole point for you. Guys, I think I saw it here, a little spray can in a tin with a marker that you can put onto the hole, so it's going to be, put it into the hole, and just put the whole dot on the other side, and you can just pick up the center of that and carry on with your... It's actually quite a nice little trick. It was worth it. Used it about 10 times, and it was worth its money area. There you go.
You know what also really works well on that? You get those engineering ink markers, and extended tips.
Yes. To get in, yeah.
That's what
Where do you find these things?
upscale engineering tool shops.
Okay. Alright, just try and find out where you can get them. That's why, you know, if you get a website and put all these little bits and pieces on there, it will really help everybody, you know. Put a little picture next to it and say, right, I can get that from this company or whatever. Okay, but we try all sorts of things. Okay, good. Alright, so there we go. Right, let's have a look at the next one, and that's kind of basic tools too. And this is the electric tools. Just have a look at that list. Then we'll have a chat. Alright, it's another topic that you could spend hours on. The first thing is all governed by your budget. Okay? And this is where, as a woodworker, you should start getting smart. So that when wifey wants to get you a present, it's in that list. So as you go on in years, I thought it's just a thing, but it does actually happen. I hate to say that my father-in-law gave me last year for Christmas a pair of socks. I was 3 pairs of socks, and I looked at it and I said, gosh, I've got to that point in my life, man. I thought it would never happen. I thought it would never happen. I thought something would be different, but no, that happened. So I've now learned, especially in my household, I give them a shopping list of what I want for Christmas. And you know what? They turn around and your wife will say to you, but why do you want them? 4 boxes of pocket hole screws. Because you can use the things. I mean, what's another box of hankies going to do for me? You know. So get something that's practical. So set up a little list for yourself. You know, I don't think there's any shame in saying to the folks, you know, that's the kind of stuff that if you need something, you know, get wild, they've got the money, the cash flow is good. Get some decent tools out of the deal. Eh? Doesn't it make it worth it? And then make them a little something. Say, you know, you got these, this is what I made for you. And then maybe you're going to get a Festool product the next time around. You know, start off at the bottom or whatever. Okay, so let's kick it off. So drill. Okay, gosh. Okay. So we live in the modern age. I think most of us do still have a corded drill. Has anybody here not got a corded drill? So one with a plug. Means you can only go that far.
Getting expensive.
Yeah, mine's also portable and wireless. Not wireless, but it can go wherever I'm going. Okay, so the majority of us here, I'm almost certain, have got a battery-operated drill of sorts. Am I right? Yes. That you're busy working with. Okay. So you'll need one good drill. No, you need many drills. You need one to put a raw bolt into the wall. That's your Hilti with a hammer, correct. So it slides to that lintel without any effort, without melting down your masonry bit. You've been there, haven't you? Okay, you'll learn. Then you get yourself a decent hammer type drill that will work for you. You don't do that on wood in any case. So those 2 drill types, I've got the Hilti and I've got the hammer, and that's lying, it's still as new as the day I've got it. And I do use them, but I keep them taken away. And they get used now and again when I have to have them. Otherwise, the rest of mine are all battery operated. Okay? So I've just got tons of it, and I use, if I'm going to use a 3mm drill bit and a 5mm drill bit through my project, I've got them each in their own drill. If I'm going to countersink, I've got the countersink in another drill. If I've got to screw them in, I've got a screwdriver on the drill bit. Drill bit on the drill. So I've got 4 of them standing on the table. In fact, I don't stand them, I lie them flat. Okay, I've now learned if I stand them, I bump them over, then I break my... You know that the day that you've got, it's running 6 o'clock, and you're on the deadline, you've got to get the stuff up, and you bump it over, and it breaks that 3mm, find another one. Okay, and you don't have a spare. Alright, so I keep my stuff lying flat. Just a comment. So, I've spoken about 4, but tell you what, I've got backups for those as well. So if something goes wrong, I've got a backup. So I've got 2 extras lying around. And I have the corded ones. Okay, so there are drills. So it sounds crazy, but that's what we do. We buy these tools and we use them until they burn out or they can't get repaired anymore, and then you get another set. Okay, so if anything, a drill is going to be of value to you. Before you go anywhere, especially when it comes to using the drill, but now the guys who do kitchen covers, who's the guys? You're experts with those drills, man. Eh? You've got the clutch at the right pressure because it's just chipboard that you're working with. You put it on number 5, you've got your bit in, and they go, and it's in, and you look at it and you say, it's like so hot. Just the checkers guys in. And then they put the dry warning up. And the dry warning just, and they what? And then you go back, you get your piece of pine, and you do the same thing. And then the first one goes flush, and you're proud of it. You do the second one, and it dives straight in. And then the clutch kicks in. You look at yourself, now. And now you're totally out of it. Am I right? It's because you've not learned that there's hard and soft wood on the pine, is it? Or you've hit a knot underneath it inside the wood. And so this thing goes on and on and on. So what I'm trying to say to you is, You need to practice to put those screws in and watch how it goes and work out how far. Not this way. Put it on and then send it home. The new screws are fantastic, man. You don't even have to put a pilot hole anymore. You don't even have to do any of it. They've got a self-tap on the end of it. You knock it and you send it straight in. You guys work with those screws. When you put something together, have you tried them? No. And they're magic, eh? Get along, but off you go. Seconds it's in. But then again, you also want to practice to use your hands to screw these things in as well. Remember that drill, some of those drills can only take you to a certain point. You need to go around your piece and just give it a tighten up on your screwdriver. Okay, so practice with it. Drills will help you out with your dowels, your pocket holes. I must say I'm not a pocket hole fan. I really am not. But there, I am impressed with the pocket hole. I really am. Especially, I don't want to punch a particular brand, but I bought a very popular brand of pocket hole kit. And I had to put something together, tried it out, and I was impressed.
Great.
Jeez, I was impressed. I looked at something, my word. And I said, nah, do not need a